Hey guys, what's going on? Broken Daydream here, back here with another video. I'm not 100% sure why, but I've kind of been in the mood to read manga where the female character has multiple personalities. So I did some research and I found 3 manga that fit that criteria. But before we jump into them, what is multiple personality disorder? Well, according to Google, it's a disorder characterized by the presence of 2 or more distinct personality states. It's usually a reaction to trauma as a way to help a person avoid bad memories. So with that said, let's go ahead and jump into some manga that have female characters that have multiple personalities. First up is pseudo harem. The senpai and kohai are just chilling when unprompted the senpai is like, yo, it'd be pretty dope to have a harem. That's a random way to start off a conversation, but I don't disagree with them. Suddenly the kohai starts to act completely different. This is when the senpai is like, yo, are you trying to make my dream come true right now? She switches to a tsundere personality and is like, yo, I'm not doing this for you, dummy. The thing is, they're both part of the drama club, so she's not switching personalities, but acting. So this manga is basically about this kohai acting like she has multiple personalities to give her senpai the illusion of having a harem. Why was I moving my hand so much when I said that? I do not know. Of course she's doing this because she likes him, but our main character is dense. Off the top of my head, I believe there's 4 personalities. There's Chiki-chan, which is like Nagatoro, tsundere, cool, and spoiled. Just to give a quick example, there's a part where the kohai is in cute mode and decides to ask her senpai, for a photo. She wants to take a picture of him, but he ends up sneaking a picture of her, so she switches to tsundere mode and acts all flustered. I like this premise. It's unique, but it's not exactly what I'm looking for. This next manga brings me closer to what I want. It's called A Story About a Girlfriend Changing Her Personalities Every Day. Our main character has a girlfriend who, you guessed it, changes her personality every single day. But it's not just their personality that changes, it's like they're a completely different person. They all have different likes and dislikes, strengths and weaknesses, heck, they all even have their own individual name. The only thing they really have in common is that they all love the main character. Of course, in each chapter, we focus on different girls and start to learn more about them as individuals and this disorder in general. I was really liking this manga, but unfortunately it seems like either a lot of chapters aren't translated or the manga got axed. So after reading the 3 chapters that I could find, it left me feeling kinda empty. Luckily, my followers over on TikTok pointed me towards our next manga we're gonna talk about, Change 123. And I am so glad that they did because I am loving it so far. The manga starts off with us getting introduced to our main character. He sees one of his classmates is being harassed, but chooses to ignore it because he knows all he would do is get himself beat up. But his sense of justice can't let him just walk away, so he turns around to help, but the next thing he knows, the guy comes flying out the alley. He's like, yo, did you do that? That was awesome! But she's kind of embarrassed that he saw her do that. Our main character tries to make sense of the situation. He's like, are you some type of martial arts master where your body just moves on its own? She's like, no, not exactly, but please, please, please do not tell anyone what you saw. I'll do anything. She thinks our main character is gonna be like,
want to have intercourse with you, yeah.
But our main character is like, I just want some money. Oh yes, extortion. But he only wants $2 to play a game. Surprise, surprise, our main character isn't a bad guy. So this and that happens and they start hanging out and go to the beach together. A beach chapter in the very first chapter of the manga? Slow down there. This is when we start to learn more about the female lead. We learn that her mother has passed and she was taken in by her 3 fathers. They each trained her in a different fighting style, karate, jujitsu, and then firearms/swordsmanship. To cope with the harsh training, she developed 3 different personalities. Hibiki for karate, Fujiko for swordsmanship, and Mikari for jujitsu. A important thing to note is whenever she switches to these other personalities, she doesn't remember what happens. While she's explaining all this to the main character, they're attacked. Our main character tries to step up, but he just doesn't have the power to do anything. This is when her personality changes and she lays the smackdown. So this is where our ecchi action rom-com begins. I really like how they set up the romance aspect. For example, after the beach fight, he's like, should I kiss her? Should I not? This is when one of her other personalities takes over and she's like, yo, quit being a pussy, and like grabs him and like pulls him in and they like smack into each other. I didn't know where the manga was going while I was reading chapter 2. It seems like she wants to get rid of her other personalities. But I'm like, why? The only time they really come out is when she's in danger. For example, in the beginning of chapter 2, she's getting felt up on the train. This is when one of her other personalities takes over and breaks this dude's fingers. Another example is one of the very first things we see in the manga is that she's about to get molested, so one of her other personalities takes over and saves her. Like, would you rather have your booty tickled? Like, I guess to each their own. And the thing is, the other personalities like her and want to protect her. So in my mind, I'm like, no, you're the one that needs to go away. All the other personalities can stay. But with that said, you kind of got to look at things from her perspective. Take a moment and think about the sweetest person that you know, the one that doesn't even want her to fly. Imagine what would happen if they closed their eyes to blink, reopen them just to find a couple of bodies laid out in front of them. So I can understand why she may not like that part of not remembering what happens, just opening her eyes and seeing a couple of bodies laid out in front of her. But normally those bodies are down on the ground for a reason, mainly because they were trying to molest her. Her other personalities aren't randomly taking over and randomly attacking random people. No, they're taking down people that deserve it. Okay, rant over. I like how we have chapters where we focus in on one girl and learn more about them as an individual. I was worried that the manga was going to fall into some type of routine where the main character finds himself in trouble and she has to come to the rescue. You know, become really episodic where the story really doesn't go anywhere. But I believe at chapter 4 is when a story starts developing, and I'm very interested to see where it goes. I'm really excited about meeting her fathers. I'm curious how they're going to handle the romance aspect, because it seems like a couple of the personalities like him in a romantic way, while the others don't see him like that. And I gotta say, the action is pretty good in this manga. And I almost forgot to mention that this manga is actually pretty spicy. There's a lot of stuff that I can't show here on YouTube. So Change 123 is definitely my favorite manga out of the ones we talked about in this video. So those were a few manga that I found that had a female character that has multiple personalities. If this video does well enough, maybe I'll do a couple more. But to go ahead and finish off this video, if you guys like this video, like the video. And if you like me, subscribe to me. And as always, this has been Broken Daydream, and I'll catch y'all next time.